Good morning. If you are just joining us, we want to get back out to our morning anchor, Chris Eggert. He is in the field reporting for us this morning, giving us a closer look at some of the dramatic images of the damage and the looting and the chaos that happened overnight. Chris.
Megan, we're stationed here right along 26th Street and Lake, and you can see the fire is still burning off in the distance. This was an apartment complex that was under construction and still on fire, and there are dozens of people who are still out and about in this area. The Target store where we saw the video of the looting earlier, that is right behind us. I would say there's at least several hundred people still in the area. We're going to turn through this parking lot for a second because I want to show you there is a police camera, a police shot spotter that has been knocked over and burned. We're going to roll on that right now. And you see we're coming up to that. You see people here taking pictures. Hey, you guys. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. So tell us what you guys are doing. Why are you guys out here?
Well, we were just here to see
what
happened
here
today. Because it was just like a huge mess. So we were like, oh, we heard all this is happening. Why not see it?
And I know people that like live in the area.
So
I know people that live like near here, and I know that like it could affect them. Like I know people who work here.
So you guys are here surveying the damage. You weren't taking part in any of the rioting that was happening?
No, we weren't here. We just got here
recently. We live in different cities. We were not here at all.
Okay. You live in different cities, so you just happened to come down here to see the damage?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever seen anything like this?
Not once ever in my entire life.
Well, your perception of Minneapolis, Minnesota, was this what you thought of when you thought of Minneapolis, Minnesota?
No, because I've been here before, like multiple times, and this is the first. I've never thought I would see something like this.
I don't believe that this reflects. I don't believe that this reflects Minneapolis as a whole. I believe that this incident, it doesn't encompass everybody from Minneapolis.
Guys, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Megan. There are people everywhere. You heard these guys that we just talked to. They are not here. They are not part of any looting that is still happening. They just came to see what was left, the aftermath. We're going to continue here to circle around here in this parking lot and get you the best perspective we can. I can tell you that police have now left the scene. And so that's the latest from here, Meg. We'll connect again in a minute.
Okay, sounds good. We've got another hour news starting now. And we begin the 6 o'clock hour this morning with breaking news out of Minneapolis. Destruction along Lake Street and Minnehaha Avenue. This morning, the images are incredible. For hours now, protesters have been setting fires and looting businesses. New video from our traffic management cameras showed the massive flames in the area. Look at this. Pictures from viewers showing the sky over Minneapolis orange, and new this morning, sources telling us the city has now asked for help from the National Guard. Demonstrators outraged over the in-custody death of George Floyd. Also breaking overnight, a shooting that turned deadly near these violent demonstrations. Police telling us that first responders found the victim on the sidewalk amid massive crowds. That man later died at the hospital.
We do have one person in custody at this time, and the facts of what led up to the shooting is still being sorted out.
That investigation is ongoing. We do now want to get back to those violent protests, though, and the looting that continued well into this morning. Our reporter saw it firsthand at 4:30 this morning. This situation is changing minute by minute. Our Ashley Zilka is live in Minneapolis with the latest from overnight. Ashley.
Well, Megan, we're going to take another look at all of this. We're kind of where some of these main fires happened, and now the fires have calmed down. A lot of the firefighters have left, but you can still see flames. And this is what I showed you about a half hour ago. But when you look down this road, it's such an eerie feeling because you see half of these buildings are gone. And now there are no protesters on this side, but there are people starting to come out, starting to take pictures. They're just shocked by all this, what they are seeing. And then we're going to pan over. This is another building. This was one of those bigger fires, and that was an apartment building that was about to be completed. And then that's the huge fire right here. That's the Sigma building. And just the flames. The flames are still there. And then you see that black cloud of smoke. And I can tell you one thing that has changed since the last time I talked to you. Minneapolis police have arrived. I don't see them in front of these buildings, but if you look down the road, I know you can't see from here, there are a line of police cars. I'd say about 12 police cars with officers inside being prepared for anything that might come. But let's pull up some video. So I'm going to talk about some of these buildings that I just showed you. But when we arrived on scene, this is what they looked like earlier this morning. So for your first going to look at that Sigma building I was talking about, it has been burning for hours, and the flames were much bigger when we were here a while ago. And then this is an up-close video captured of that large building, the apartment building right behind me. You can see firefighters and the difference we've been seeing from that video to what we're seeing right now. Then you can see this fire just turn the sky red as firefighters struggle to fight these flames. A viewer, though, they also sent us this video when the fire was at its worst. It shows multiple levels of the building burning all at once. The auto zone, that's another place we've been talking about. It's across the street from the 3rd Precinct. It was set on fire around 9:30 last night. It's engulfed in flames. And nearby, our crew saw looting at a pawn shop and an ATM at a U.S. Bank drive-through. That has been another issue. I know we saw a lot of it at Target last night, and even on this road, you can see Target shopping carts all along it. All in the front lawns of these, a lot of these neighbors they walk out and they don't really know what to expect. But we did speak with the Minneapolis police chief by phone right as the situation was starting to turn violent. He called for peace in Minneapolis.
The leaders on the ground, certainly there's plans that have been in place to make sure that we do have EMS, emergency assistance nearby, but we also have to account for their safety as well.
Now, the chief said overnight that there have been reports of both officers and demonstrators being injured. That was, around 10 o'clock last night. He did not go into detail about what types of injuries, but he even said he imagined by this morning that there would be more injuries reported. We know now, as well as the National Guard, the St. Paul Police Department, I think about 40 police officers have been called to help with this ongoing situation. And, there are still protests happening. Another one has already been planned for 5 o'clock tonight. That will be happening at the Hennepin County Government Center. But for now, back to you, Megan.
Okay. Ashley, we appreciate you taking us there. I can't imagine it. I mean, seeing these images, it feels surreal. It's hard to believe this is happening in downtown Minneapolis. This looks like something happening elsewhere in the world. This doesn't look like something that would happen here.
I mean, I don't mean to be dramatic, but I mean, at least this section, it really looks like a war zone when you look down here and you see what's left of this street.
Yeah. The smoke, the flashing of the lights, the rubble. It's not just a smashed out window, but you have roofs that have caved in. You have bricks falling off buildings. You have charred debris everywhere. It's incredible to think that this happened overnight in just a few hours while people were sleeping across the cities, It's wow. Okay, Ashley, we're going to get to Chris now next.
Right, and now,
Go ahead.
I was just saying, and now all of these police officers have shown up. I think they're being prepared now that these fires are being put up. Like I mentioned, I'd say at least 20 police officers are starting to show up at this scene.
Yeah, okay. Ashley, we'll check in with you again throughout the morning, no doubt about it. Let's get now to our Chris Eggert. He's out in the field this morning. You're in the area of Lake and Hiawatha, bringing us another look at the damage. And you said that the swath of this damage is miles long.
Yeah, Meg, we're just on the other side of where Ashley and her photographer are. You see the fire that's burning over my shoulder here? We're just on the other side of the street. And we're in the parking lot of the Cub Foods and the Target and the strip mall where a lot of this rioting and looting took place last night. There are still people walking out of the front doors of this grocery store. I've also noticed within the last hour or so, there are a ton of people just here who appear to be looky-loos, who are armed with a camera, and they're taking pictures, trying to sort of capture this scene firsthand. See a guy walking into the store right here. Hey, you part of this? Huh? Were you a part of this, or are you just out looking?
I'm documenting it.
You documenting it? Okay. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people out who appear to be just sort of documenting the situation. Did you hear that? That is the crunch of garbage underneath our front tires. Chris, is there any way we can back up and try to turn? Give us a sec here. We're going to try to back up, turn around, and give you an idea of what things look like inside this Cub store. It's unbelievable. The front door is wide open, and there is food spread all the way out in the street. There's a bicycle tire There's a box of M&Ms. There's grocery carts everywhere. And I apologize if we've got kids in the audience right now, but every one of the buildings have swear words painted on the side of them. Very few places I've seen the phrases like I can't breathe. But we're gonna pull up here to this Dollar Tree. Megan, look at this.
Wow.
Look at this Dollar Tree. There's stuff
Crazy.
spread throughout the street. I have seen people walking down the streets with computer equipment. I've seen people walking down the streets with boxes of shoes. I have seen people walking down the streets with food. We're pulling along here. We've got a leadership academy that's been broken into. We have a charter school that's been broken into. You can hear the alarms at the charter school. And now, as you see the fire off to the left of the screen, we're pulling up to the Target, and we're going to go right through this parking lot of the Target, and I want to show you. This is a Target where we had video from yesterday and even last night in the middle of the night where people were coming and going out of this Target store.
Wow.
A lot of cars, a lot of traffic here, unfortunately, trying to get a look at the situation, but I want to give us a sec. We're going to pull a little closer here, and I want to show you as close as we can to get inside this Target store. Front doors wide open, people with phones everywhere. If we can show that video from last night, if we can take a minute to show that video from last night, guys, can we do that? This is the East Lake Street location of the Target store. We saw people walking out. They had television sets. They had rugs. They had other items. Stop.
Yeah,
These
Chris,
guys
we're
are
showing
walking
the
out right
video.
here.
Chris, we're showing the video from inside the Target
Yep.
store with the racks just empty.
Hey, what are you guys
hay.
doing? What are you doing? What are you taking? Is that yours to take? Is that yours? Hey, is that yours to take? Hold on. Can you see them behind me? You guys see them behind me?
Yeah.
Look at them walking out. Hey, is that yours to take? Still happening right now. There are still people out here. There are people walking through this store and grabbing stuff, almost like they were in the middle of the night last night. There's probably 50 to 75 people here. They're not gathered in a big group. They're sort of just milling out and about throughout this parking lot. I would not say for the most part that this situation, there's a couple of Minneapolis police, which I've not seen a lot of. It looks like they may be coming in position here, possibly trying to protect these fire crews are above us. I would not say that most of the people here right now are in a rioting mood or seem to be in a violent mood. I would say a majority of the people here right now are just sort of trying to document what's happening, and only a handful of them, like the knuckleheads you just saw there a minute ago, are actually walking out of the store with bins of things.
It's incredible.
We're going to try to circle and follow these police and find out what they're doing.
Okay.
Go ahead, Meg.
I just was, for people that maybe didn't see, last night Chopper 5 was above this scene when kind of the protesting started and then started kind of making its way to this Target and the Auto Zone and the Dollar Tree in this particular shopping center. And you saw the lines of cars and the people just walking out with things. This was 7:30, 8 o'clock last night. What we just saw from you is almost 12 hours later, 11 hours later, and people are still going into that store and still bringing things out. To think that this kind of chaos has been going on for 10, 11, 12 hours in the city is unreal.
Yeah, I just saw a group of about 10 kids walking out of the Target store, and we're following a brigade of police. They left. They're gone. They're driving down the street right now.
So they're not even trying to stop people from doing that? No, they're not. They appear to be getting in some kind of a position here. We are right behind the police officers. We're not exactly sure what they're doing. We're probably going to drop back a little bit and maintain a safe distance. Yeah.
There appears to be fire department up the street here. We're going under the Hiawatha and Lake Street Bridge. Not as many people in this particular area, but police definitely seem like they're getting in position for something. Why don't we send it back to you?
Okay.
We'll get a handle on what the situation is, and then we'll come back to you when we get figured out what's happening in front of us here.
Okay. Be safe. You're doing things that make me nervous. Be safe. National Guard, we know, has been requested by the city to help combat some of these. And as Ashley mentioned, there is another protest scheduled already for 5 o'clock this afternoon. So we will continue to watch and see what happens here. Something has to change. We can't endure another night of this. Outside of the fire and the looting, clashes between protesters and police continued. Flashbangs, smoke, tear gas used by police on the demonstrators several times as they tried to disperse these massive crowds. Police also busy guarding the fire scenes as fire crews work to put them out. Now, just in this morning, we've learned that Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton will be arriving in Minnesota today. Reverend Jackson's assistant telling us that he will hold a news conference to discuss the death of George Floyd. That will happen at around 1 o'clock this afternoon. A location, though, hasn't yet been set, but we'll bring you new updates on this as soon as we get them. Now, our coverage continues all morning long. Our crews there in the scene, we're going to check in with them often. If you're not by your TV, be sure to follow the latest updates on our website, KSTP.com. Good Morning America will also have continuing coverage of this, so you can watch that as well beginning at 7 o'clock this morning. All right, now we do want to talk weather and traffic. Josie, you've been watching this fire all night. We know that public transportation has been impacted by all of this happening as well.
Yes, for the safety of the riders as well as their own workers, the Metro Blue Line service has been shut down. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. And I was on the phone with MnDOT here in the last 10 minutes, and they zoomed in a little bit more along Lake Street. About an hour or so ago, you could see more visible flames, and you can still see some of that at this point from this traffic camera view. There's a lot more smoke than flames at this point, but that's the one view that we're seeing here along Hiawatha. Hiawatha itself is open and will probably stay open for the morning commute, but the ramps at Lake Street are closed. And when I talked to MnDOT overnight, they said, yeah, we think those ramps to Lake are going to stay closed probably through the weekend, and certainly that could go longer. Metro Blue Line service has been shut down. The airport shuttle between Terminal 1 and 2, that will continue, but I do want to mention that no replacement bus service for the Metro Blue Line is being set up, so there's no trains and they're not giving you those backup buses. Again, this is just a close-up of the structure fires here that are sitting along Lake Street this morning in the area of Hiawatha. Ken, it's going to be a warm one today, right?
It is going to be warm, and Josie, the good news is from the weather office, we have lower humidity, mild temperatures to start, and maybe a sprinkle this morning. Otherwise, the weather picture gets better as the day goes on. 64 right now, less humid than it was yesterday. Windy, low humidity, partly to mostly sunny this afternoon. It will turn out to be a very nice day, and again, a lot less humid. So if you haven't opened up your windows and you've put on the AC, you may want to put the AC off and open the windows. It's going to be that nice out there, Megan, especially this weekend. More on that coming up.
Okay, Ken. Well, still ahead for you this morning. We're going to take you back out live to South Minneapolis. We're at the center of what were very violent and destructive protests overnight. Looters took advantage of things. Another view from our Midway Skycam as one of those fires burns here in the distance. Our breaking news coverage continues right after this short break. Good morning. Welcome back. It's now 6:17. We are sitting in the 60s temperature-wise out there. Of course, we've got a lot of news to get to, but we did want to see a bright spot this morning, and so we bring you in for that, Ken.
Yeah, and the bright spot's coming. We're going to see a beautiful day, and an outstanding weekend is on the way. I want to show you this very interesting radar picture, not interesting in a good way. This is the smoke plume from the fire last night, or early this morning at 1 o'clock when I got here. You could see it on the radar. This is the plume where it started around Hiawatha and Lake, and as the plume expands and head toward Bloomington last night. This is all dispersed. There's still smoke in the area, but it's not this solid plume. Had to have been very heavy for us to see that from radar, which is located in Chanhassen out here to the west. So that's a long ways ago to see that smoke plume, and we saw it on our radar. So there is a little line of some sprinkles off to the northwest. The bigger area of showers is down in the southeast. You folks are saying, when is it going to end? This rain will end this morning. These sprinkles will move through. What this line is going to do is really drop the humidity. The humidity and the air will both drop. The cooling will begin not until tonight, but the humidity is already beginning to fall. It's 64 on our thermometer this morning, but look at the dew point. Yesterday, the dew point was 65. Now it's 57. It's much more comfortable. It's not sticky out there, and it's going to get even better. The weather gets even drier as the day goes on and brighter as we start to see, again, a morning sprinkle by 9 o'clock or so. There could be a sprinkle after that. The wind will pick up. The sun will be out. It'll turn into a beautiful day, but again, on the breezy side, and that leaves us with another good day tomorrow with sunshine, comfortable temperatures, and just a couple of scattered clouds. Here comes Saturday, and Saturday looks good too. Lots of sunshine, a little bit on the cool side for some tastes, but all in all, a fantastic weekend of weather is coming up with no more rain, again, except for the sprinkle coming up in the next couple of hours. That's it until Sunday night. So from this point onto Sunday night, just a sprinkle this morning. 78 degrees today, partly to mostly sunny, windy. It's already turned less humid. It'll get even drier as the day goes on, and you'll really notice that difference. 52 tonight, very comfortable. Leave the windows open if you can. May have to get up and shut them. It's going to be that cool. It'll be in the 40s in the suburbs tonight. 70 tomorrow, though, is right around where we should be, but compared to 80, it's going to feel cool, as will Saturday, but sunshine, mostly sunny on Sunday. And again, by Sunday night into Monday, when that warmer air comes in, and the humidity, there is the chance of a shower or thunderstorm, but not until after a beautiful day on Sunday as well. So Megan, a beautiful weekend's coming. Hope you have some plans. It's going to be nice.
All right, Ken, thank you. Let's get to Josie now and check in with the live drive construction, and then you throw on what happened overnight. You've got some light rail issues that folks are having to deal with this morning, too.
Yes, one of the angles where we're covering and watching the structure fires along Lake Street is from this MnDOT traffic camera, which is placed up on 94 near Hiawatha, and they've turned it and zoomed in for us here on one of the structure fires. Now, about an hour ago, it was just a lot of flames, and now it seems to be, at least from this angle, more smoke than flames. By the way, Hiawatha is open, and I'm expecting it to stay open. Let's see if we can go back to this map here. I'm expecting it to stay open through the morning commute, but the ramps to Lake Street, when I talked to MnDOT overnight, they said they are shut down and are going to be through the weekend at least. Now, as far as Metro Transit goes, the Metro Blue Line service has been shut down, and there is no replacement bus service. A lot of times when they shut down the trains, they send on bus service, but that's not happening. However, the airport shuttle between Terminal 1 and 2, that will continue to operate. It's 6:21, and we'll continue here in minutes with more breaking news in Minneapolis on 5 Eyewitness News.
Nice Ride is expanding its free membership of to essential workers in Minneapolis until June 30th. The bike sharing program also rolled out e-bikes in the city. The pedal assist bikes are part of a partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Riders can buy an annual membership, a day pass, or pay by the minute. One Clarks Grove man has been a business owner, a World War II veteran, and now you can add fundraiser to that list. We want you to meet Milton Mickey Nelson. At 99 years old, he is hoping to walk 100 miles to raise money for the Salvation Army's food shelf. Mickey told us that he has always been on the go and still gets in about a mile a day.
And I go down to the post office, and I kind of kid about that. It's uphill both ways. And then I have another route I take. I go over to my church here to the south of us and back again. And sometimes I make other trips around the city.
Those uphill both way trips, I'm familiar with those. Mickey turns 100 in a month. He's already raised about $50,000 to donate to Mickey's cause. You can check out our Featured on 5 section of our website at KSTP.com. Look at him go. We have an amazing update to share with you. Baby Zoe's parents want to say thank you to all of the viewers out there. Our Alex Jokic brought us the story of this adorable 14-month-old little girl who is battling a rare form of cancer. She is in desperate need of a bone marrow donor and transplant, but so far has not found a match. 150 people, though, have signed up for the National Marrow Registry after our story aired a week ago. If you would like to learn more about Zoe and how you can potentially be her match, just look under the Featured on 5 section of our website. We love seeing Minnesotans helping out each other. So if you have a story of someone going above and beyond, doing something really great, share it on Facebook, on social media somewhere, and make sure that you use the hashtag KSTP Kindness so we can see it too. And we'll be able to share that with viewers. We like those stories, and we need those stories today, Ken.
Yes, we definitely need those stories today. Thank you, Megan. 64 right now, guys. We could see a sprinkle or a very brief shower up until about 9 this morning, but most of the day from this point on is going to get breezy and less humid. Temperature will get up to 78. We still have a lot of clouds with us, especially off to the east. West of the Twin Cities, we're looking at, again, there's that terrible fire there we're talking about in parts of Minneapolis, but off to the west, we're looking at some clouds and again a sprinkle this morning. But that's it, Megan. Otherwise, smooth sailing into the weekend. I'll have more on that coming up after the break.
All right, Ken, let's get to Chris now.
Hey guys, we are at the Target store, South Minneapolis, and that white Ford Explorer you see right there, there are people who are continuing to load up from inside that Target store. Looters are inside the store as we speak, right in front of us, and it is continuing here in South Minneapolis. We'll take you here again live when 5 Eyewitness News breaking news coverage continues.